Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. I'm Sheryl Schmidt of Sheryl Schmidt Artistry. And once again today we're going to be creating something for the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook groups challenge. The whole month of August is artists, fine artists, being inspired by what other artists before us have created. And today I am doing an inspired piece by Reid. Reid was a Canadian artist. He was born in January 1920. He passed away in March of 1998. He had created over 1,000 pieces of original art during his 50-year career. His works range from sculptures to paintings. He was regarded as one of the most significant Northwest Coast artists of the late 20th century. He was a master goldsmith. He was a carver, a sculptor, a writer, and a broadcaster. And he infused the Haida traditions with his own modern aesthetics in his works. And today's piece, this is what I'm going to show you how to create. Today's piece was inspired by this painting of his. I took that inspiration of a carving, of a painting, and I decided I was going to create a carving. I liked the bird. I could not find an actual bird that I liked that he had painted. This was created by another artist. I could not find that other artist's name, but I took that carving, that shape, to create inspiration for myself. To create his work. We'll be working today on these pink rubber blocks. We're going to carve them. We're going to be using the excuse me. You'll need a carving tool. You need your bricks, and then you will need a printing ink. And that is basically the tools that you'll need. I'll walk you through how to carve it, how to create your piece. And when you're all done, you'll end up with your carved lino cut, your carved rubber piece, and we'll make some prints from that. I'll walk you through how to do that in today's video. So please stick around to see how that's done. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe and like button down below. If you hit the little bell icon off to the side, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. I want to thank you in a real special way for stopping by today. If you're new, stick around, check out some of my other videos, and hopefully something will appeal to you today. If you're returning, a very special thank you for coming back and for all the support that you've given me on my channel. Once we get going on things, I'll show you how to pull your print. But I made 6 prints in today's video. I pulled it 6 times using one 12 by 12 piece of cardstock that I cut down. Please make sure that you stop by Nina Rabina and Kylie Koo's channel and Amalt Olson's channel as well, as she is our guest artist this month for the month of August. All right, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so you just watched me draw out my picture. And that's what I've got. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to trace my image onto the rubber to lino cut or make my own block. Remember, this is how they come. They come in a pack of 2. They're 4 inches by 6 inches by 1/4 inch, and that's what I'm using. So I've got it drawn on my tracing paper. So now I'm going to cover the whole back of my tracing paper with my graphite pencil. If you've got carbon paper, you could just use carbon paper. I don't usually have carbon paper in the house, so this is my preferred technique. I find it just as easy as using actual carbon paper. Want to make sure the whole image is covered. I'm going to lay that onto my rubber brick here. There we go. And then I am going to trace firmly but gently over my image. And that, let me move you in here. And that is going to transfer onto my brick here. Let me get things lined back up. Okay, I've lost my spot, so let me just erase that out of there. That's not going to erase. So let me just flip that over and start over. Just trust me when I tell you that the image will transfer as you're tracing. I may have actually made my image a little too big for my brick, but that's okay. We'll work with it. So I'm just gonna carefully, like I said, trace all my lines on. Now, if you're comfortable and confident enough in your drawing skills and abilities, then by all means, please just draw direct to the rubber and avoid this step. I am not confident enough in my drawing skills to do that. That's why I create my image first. And then trace everything on. Oops. And I do try to make things as symmetrical as I can to start with, but as I trace and as I carve, things are going to change. That symmetry is going to change, and that's one of the things I kind of like about this process, is that it is going to take on a different look. Alright, just about done. There we go. So that is the gist of my image. Anywhere that didn't transfer quite enough, I will just pencil in. And sometimes it even pays to just come back in and go over everything with your pencil, and then you know that all of those marks are going to be good. Sorry, I have completely gone off camera. So I'm just going over everything here again just to make sure that I can see it and you can see it when I start carving. All right, so there you go. That is the gist of my image. And like I said, as I carve, things are going to change. So I have a wooden carving tool. It's got its blade there. And I have this carving tool, and it comes with numerous tips. I generally will come in with my wider tips and remove the bulk of my stuff, and then come in with my finer tip and work around it. So I'm gonna get all of this set up, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll start carving. I'm just gonna fast forward you through, like I'll record it, but I'll fast forward you through the recording or through the carving process because it's going to take a little while. All right, so I have got my tool all set up. I'm going to come in and carve on the outside of my pencil line first, and then I will work my way to the inside and carve things out. So sit back, listen to some music while I carve, and I will try my very best to stay in frame for you. All right, so I am done carving. That took a good 45 minutes to an hour or so to get that carved. Now the moment of truth comes. I've got some ink, some speedball ink for printmaking, and I have my glass mat. And I'm going to give this a shake. It's been a while since I've used it. Dispense just a little bit over here. So I've got just a little dollop over here. I'm going to take my roller, roll it into my ink, and then roll it onto my image here. So far, so good. That looks pretty awesome. So let's take a pull here. I'm just using my 32-pound computer paper. Gonna lay that on the image. I'm gonna take another roller that's clean. And I'm just gonna roll that and then pull that up, and voila! There is my bird. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna put maybe a little bit more ink on. See if I can get another. Ooh, that came out a little fast that time. A little more ink than I wanted, but so I will roll that again. Let's pull another image. Lay that in there. Pull that up. A much darker image. I like that. I don't mind that I've got a few high spots around that are leaving an image behind. I am very, very happy with the results. Now, let's say you don't have a roller, you don't have the speedball inks for printmaking. And it's just like any other stamp. You want to wipe your inks off. When I'm done, I will always go in and use some soap and water to clean that. Let's say all you have are ink pads. Well, ink pads work just as well. I am just pulling out my black archival ink, and I'm just going to take and ink that up. Just like that. Take a new sheet of paper. I'm gonna lay that paper in there and brayer over top of it with the archival ink. And there we go. That gives a very, very nice rustic look and feel to it. So I hope you will give that a try. Now I'm going to clean things up here, and then I will be back. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my jelly plate, and we're going to create a background on my jelly plate, and then we're going to take a print of this, and that is going to be, yeah, I think that's the plan. So I will be back. All right, so we have carved our image into our brick. Now what? What do we do with that? We did some test pulls to make sure the image was going to be nice and crisp. This is done with the printing ink. This was done just with regular ink pad, just a stamping ink pad. Well, I think I want to make maybe some card fronts or some postcards with this. So I have pulled out a piece of plain white 12 by 12 scrapbook paper. It's not a high quality paper. It's pretty flimsy, but I'm just making the fronts. I'll attach it to a heavier cardstock for the base. And I've pulled out some pinks and blues. I've got milled lavender oxide spray, mermaid lagoon oxide spray, broken china, salvage patina, picked raspberry in the stains. And I am just going to spray this all over and just create a background with this. I'm just going to put my colors in, let them blend and mix, let them splatter. Remember, when you're working with the oxides, they need to be shaken. I love that powdery look and feel that they give. All right, I'm going to hit that with a little bit of water. Just soften everything, move it around a little bit. I'm going to dry that. All right, now let's hit that again. Rotate it in my splatter box. My splatter box is just ever so slightly too small, but that's okay. And it just keeps the overspray from going everywhere, because in case you haven't realized it, I am like beyond messy when I work. And I keep getting the almost empty and doesn't want to work broken china. Alright, I'm back with a new bottle. That's better. Spray that in there. And again, I'm going to hit it with a few squirts of water. Let everything mix and blend. Hit that with my heat gun again. Alright, and let's hit it one more time here. That's one of the awesome things with distress inks and sprays and stains, is how often or how many layers you can put in. I'm just going to go take a look and see if I have any picket fence. I do. I've got a bottle of picket fence. So I'm going to shake that up. Instead of putting, instead of spritzing white or black paint or ink, I'm going to use the distress spray stain. So I'm going to put some of that in my fingers and splotch that down, because it will pick up those colors from underneath. But it'll also soak into the paper, and it's not going to leave dimension. And the reason why I don't want dimension is because I want a nice smooth printed image when I pull my print. All right, I'm going to keep drying that, and once that's all completely dry, I will be back. Sorry about that, my camera didn't record. So what I was saying is I took my 12 by 12 paper, and I cut it in half, so I had two 6 by 12s, and then I cut the 6 by 12 piece down into 3 4 by 6 pieces. I'm just doing that here now on the other side. I know I had said earlier in the video that I was thinking about pulling out my gel plate to make prints with. When I do my gel plate though, I need the whole day. If I'm gonna dig everything out, I like to spend the whole day making prints. I'm just putting that away. And I just don't have the time today to spend the whole day doing that. All right, so now I want to show you something that I've rigged up here for myself. When I make a print, I want things to be squared up or centered. It's one of the few times I worry about that. So this used to be, it used to be a canvas, right? So all of this all went together. It used to be a canvas. I took the canvas part off and used my square. And when I put it back together and glued it together, I made sure everything was lined up and square right in that center. And now when I need to make a print, whether I'm using a stamp or using something like this, I can line that up right where I need it to be. I'm gonna pull, so I'm gonna make all my prints today in black. I've got black printing ink. Give that a good shake. It's been a while since I've used it. I'm gonna dispense some over here onto my mat, my glass mat. I've got my brayer. Work that onto my brayer. That looks good. Bring my square in. Move you in a little bit here. Bring in my piece of paper. Line my paper up with my wood. Gonna use my clean brayer here. Firm pressure. Peel that up, and there's my print. So I'll just set that aside here now to dry. Sorry, I think that's my speaker on my stereo, my Bluetooth going dead. All right, so re-ink. Now you want you want a layer of ink on your brayer, but you don't want to put your ink on so thick that it fills in all the little gaps of your image. And you also don't want it so thick that it's slippery when you lay your paper on it. So I've got that squared up inside my frame. Bring in my paper in. I'll move that out of the way. Give that a nice firm roll and pull that up. And I find as I pull my prints, I like the look of my print, each layer a little bit more. Now, because I've got a nice layer of ink on there and I've got a nice layer of ink on my brayer. And as I go, I'll get more ink kind of off the image. Let's square that up. And that's okay. It adds to the look of it, I feel. Bring that in, lay that down, move my frame. So I'll make cards out of some of these. Some of these I may mount on a really stiff. And I love how you'll get one like super crisp and you'll get one that's going to be just ever so slightly more distressed. So I'm going to keep pulling these and I will be back. I finished pulling all my prints, so I've got 6 prints all created there and ready to go. And like I said, some of these I will mount just on a really stiff piece of cardstock and use it like a postcard. A couple of these I will mount onto cardstock and send as a greeting card to somebody. I'm sure at least one will make its way into my art journal in some capacity, but I hope you'll give this a try. So don't forget, down below I will have links to Nina Rabina and Kylie Cruz pages, and the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook group page, as it is once again their challenge. And Elmot Olsen, our guest artist this month as well. So I hope you'll spend some time looking at artists and be inspired by the work that they've created. Thank you so much for stopping by. See you next time. Bye-bye.